Hey friend, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to mix up the color red from just using two colors, and neither of them are red. So in this video I'm going to be using some fun different colors other than red to make the color red. So it's going to expand your knowledge on color mixing and help you to try new things and get spicy with your life. So if you are ready, let's dive in. So for the two colors that I'm going to be using to mix up the color red, I will be using permanent orange from the My Merry Blue line. So I'm going to squeeze out a little dollop of permanent orange and a little dollop of ultramarine violet from My Merry Blue in my palette. And color mixing from these two colors is going to require a little bit of patience and getting the correct ratio to finally get to a deep brick red. So we have ultramarine violet, which is a warm violet. So we want to make sure that we choose a color. If we're mixing up, obviously a red is a warm color, then we want to make sure to choose a violet that's on the warmer side of the spectrum and not so much blue in it. But this purple has a good amount of pinkish hue in it. So that is definitely lending in our favor. And then permanent orange is your just straight up orange. So this is gonna bring in those elements of a deeper, earthier brown color undertone, because we have some of the yellow peeking through, and that yellow is a contrast with the purple. Purple and yellow are contrasting colors. And when you mix purple and yellow together, or any contrasting color together, you get some form or shade of mud. So sometimes it can be brown, depending on the two colors that you're using and what side of the spectrum they're on, if they're warm or cool. Sometimes that can be gray. But these two colors in particular, the yellow that's coming through with the orange is giving us a darker brownish red. So I'm wanting to add a little bit more orange than purple to give a little bit of that red popping through. And testing it out on paper, we're starting to notice that deep brick red. So if you want like a bright red, then you're obviously going to need to choose a much brighter purple with a lot less blue in it. But for this muted kind of more natural red, I have the permanent orange and ultramarine violet mixing quite nicely together. So now I'm just seeing all the different values that I can get from this mixture by painting a couple of flowers. So I can go in and get a little bit more pigment on my brush and get a darker or less transparent value of this deep brick red. And then I can get my lighter values, my lighter brick red with more water in my ratio. I'm using wet and wet technique to just paint a few simple flowers. If you want to learn how to paint some flowers, make sure you check out some of my other videos on floral watercolor. But you can mix up so many surprising colors that you might not even think the colors you use to get there would be a combination that get you the result. So have fun, try a mixing chart. We have a great mixing chart video that will help you with expanding your color palette and your color mixing knowledge. And I'm using a size 4 filbert brush in this part of the video to paint in, using the corner of the filbert brush to paint in my stems and my leaves. I'm using a mixture of green gold from My Merry Blue and sap green from My Merry Blue. So the more yellowy leaf has a little bit more green gold in the mixture, and the thicker, more mid green is sap green. But one of my favorite exercises to do, especially when I am trying out a new color, is to mix it with every other color in my palette to see all the different surprising hues that I can mix up from those colors. For example, if you mix turquoise with orange, you're going to get this really funky brownish gray that's actually a really beautiful gray. But that might not be your first initial reaction when you're thinking I need to mix up a gray. You're probably not going to grab the turquoise and the orange. So it's a great exercise in expanding your color library and knowledge on the colors you have in your palette. And obviously from today's lesson, we were able to mix up this brick red using our orange and purple. Try out, if you have different oranges in your palette or different purples in your palette, try out mixing different and see what you can get from those different oranges and purple hues.
You might not be able to get red, but you might get a interesting looking purple or a deeper magenta or a burnt orange or something that might just be surprising. So we're gonna try out this mixture again for a different painting, and I've added a little bit more purple in the mixture to brighten it up and make it more of like a deep magenta red, kind of a wine color. And similar type of painting, we're gonna be painting some flowers with a variety of different values, some lighter, some darker, thicker and thinner. And I really like this color, or this version of the red that we mixed up. So there's slightly more purple in this ratio than there was in the previous. And that's also another great exploration to do, or exercise to do, is to just change the mixture or the ratios ever so slightly and actually test it on paper and get a feel for all the different colors that you have within just 2 pigments. You can do this with your entire color library that you have in your palette. Just combine every single color you have with every single color you have in your palette. So if you start with yellow, for example, maybe you're starting with primary yellow, well then mix it with all the other colors in your palette and test out each combination with maybe doing some swatches on your piece of paper or doing a color chart. Again, we'll link to that video that's on my YouTube of doing a color mixing chart in this video. So now I'm just going through and painting a piece, a floral watercolor piece with this brick red wine color that I now have. And using sap green and green gold for my leaves and my stems. I wanted a more muted green color for this one to kind of combine the aesthetic that we're getting from the wine color that's more muted. But have fun, play around with these color mixtures that you get. Try a color combination that you think maybe in your head initially that it would be an awful combination, but you might be surprised with the result. So for example, yellow and black sounds like it would be an awful result, but it's really just a beautiful subtle gray, muted gray. Be nice for adding shadow or glaze on parts of flowers to move parts of the flower into a shadow, or wherever else you would use your grays. So try it out. Don't be afraid to combine certain colors together and do a whole chart.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was insightful. If you maybe want to try out some different colors, type them in the comment below. Maybe you want to try mixing up blue or something else, grays and stuff. Type them in the comments below. Maybe we'll do a video on it. Who knows? And also, if you want to take your art skills to a whole nother level, make sure you check out and join my Patreon. This is where I'm posting monthly exclusive tutorials every single month, along with doing live art classes and art critiques for people who are inside specific tiers within my Patreon. So make sure you go check that out. We'll link to it here. It's also jennarainey.com/Patreon. I also have books. Check out my books. Everyday Watercolor, my first book, 30 Paintings in 30 Days. Everyday Watercolor Flowers, and I also have Everyday Watercolor Seashores, which is coming out March 2024. So if you're watching this in 2024 and it's after March, then it's already available for you. But if you're watching this in the present day, it's not. Anyways, thank you so much for all of the love on all of our videos, for subscribing to our channel and liking these videos, commenting on these videos. It really does mean the world. Cheers. I will see you in the next video.